the point with the big package of amendments is, hold on just a minute, you guys are trying to cheat. You didn't meet your deadline. You spoke those words in public. If you were honorable people, which, if you were honorable people, you would simply say, we're not going to make the deadline. We'll have to put it off till next year. Okay. That's what honorable people would have done. That's not what they're doing. And so getting people to understand that they're plotting to break the international law, Article 55, it's as plain as day. A lot of times you read law and there's a lot of wiggle room. You know, you can see where the exception is and the loophole is, right? It says very clearly, nations shall submit amendments 4 months in advance. They're going to keep changing it and changing it and changing it and changing it. And I mentioned the Delphi technique. I think I did earlier. The idea behind the Delphi technique was actually on display, and there will be a video down below here talking about what I'm talking about, where they know where they want these negotiations to go. And the actual negotiations are theatrical production. It's a facade. It's a charade. And they did this as plain as day. There'll be a long video about their meeting where they're lying, right? And they took a coffee break in the middle of discussing the final language for their report of their meetings. And when they came back, the co-chairs submitted a tiny little paragraph to replace the detailed explanation of the plot to break the rules. They spent an hour discussing the plot of how they don't have to obey that rule. And then at the last minute, they put language in that if all you did was read the final report or the press release about the final report, you would have no idea. And so the issue with the big pile of amendments is we don't know what they are at this point in time. Maybe we will at the beginning of December. There'll be an uproar there, let me tell you, as soon as I get my hands on them. But there's supposed to be a 4-month period to consider them between them being submitted and the assembly. And they're breaking that rule. You know, they have diplomatic immunity. So, you know, convicting them of a crime, basically all we can do is treat them like the cockroaches that they are. When you walk into a room and you turn on the light, you know, shine a light on what they're doing and just watch them squirm. Okay. For the other document, it's totally in a state of flux, but I wrote a declaration, thepeoplesdeclaration.com, which is sort of all-inclusive about this, because what's really going on here is not just what they have in the documents. People, I think, pay attention to the trees, but they miss the forest. What I say in the peoplesdeclaration.com is, well, you know what you're not negotiating in this convention agreement? You're not negotiating an end to gain-of-function research. You're actually negotiating under the guise of an agreement that is supposed to reduce the risk of the next pandemic. You're negotiating this One Health scenario where you're going all over every place in the world, taking swabs of people's noses or other orifices, or at the veterinarian's office, you're swabbing your cat and your dog in their stool sample, or your chicken coop, or your pigsty, or your horse bedding, or your septic system, or your wastewater treatment plant, or the local bat cave, or the kangaroo enclosure, or whatever it might be. Oh, look, we found a new pathogen with pandemic potential. They're not talking about the things that people think they're talking about. They're talking about investing tens of billions of dollars into a laboratory network to find pathogens with pandemic potential. And they want to loosen the restrictions on gain of function. If they make something, you know, able to transmit to humans, humanize these pathogens. Then they want to make a medical countermeasure, a drug or a jab, to treat or inject people under the guise, well, this could cause a pandemic. So we have to protect you from the thing that we dug up, messed with, and created a product that we want to then inject into people, which has been shown to make them less healthy, not more healthy. And so they're just investing in a business model. Their business model is based on producing fear. Let's go find something scary in some bat cave somewhere, or whatever other animal you want to pick. The horror of just think about farmers or ranchers who raise fowl, like chicken or turkey or anything like that. Avian flu. Well, if you have your own little chicken coop and one of your birds looks like they're ill, you might take them and set them aside and take care of them, separate them from the other birds. Their solution is to kill them all. It is evil beyond belief. And so what they're looking for are reasons to call herds around the world to lower down for climate change, right? Oh, we got too many animals making too many farts or whatever. And the whole One Health agenda is about control and fear. And so it remains to be seen what the next version of the convention agreement might include. But I can almost assure you that none of these documents are addressing health.